and TESOL educator. She is holding multiple professional credentials, including a diploma in artificial intelligence applications in education, certified AI specialist, MOE TESOL certified teaching license, CELTA from Polyskills Institute in Dubai, and several TOT and master trainer certifications from prestigious institutions. She is an inspiring trainer known for integrating AI tools effectively into ESL learning. Please join me in giving a warm virtual welcome to dear Rasha. Dear Rasha, the floor is yours.
Thank you, dear Fatima, and thank you to all of you, members of TalentHut TESOL Academy. I would like to welcome everyone here, and I'm so glad to be with you. And let's kick off our webinar. Are you ready? Hopefully you're ready, huh?
Your presenter. Okay, this is actually a brief biography about me. Okay, to know that I have many certifications which are related to AI and to education. Moving on to the workshop agenda, we can see that we're going to start talking about the definition of generative AI tools. And then I'm going to talk about the advantages of using AI tools in teaching writing. Then I will move on to some challenges which are associated with using AI tools in writing. And we will be talking about how to approach AI tools in your classroom. And I'm going to provide you with 4 AI tools that can be used in your classroom, and they can be used to teach writing. Then we will have a final word, and we will move to the Q&A session, and we will have the list of references. Now, kindly, if you don't mind, I want you to log into menti.com. You can scan the QR code which is available to your right, or you can actually just let me provide you with this link. So, and I want you to write from 1 to 3 words. Okay, in order to answer this question, what do you know about artificial intelligence? Okay, so let me share my other screen. Which is related to Menti. Okay, there you go. Okay, so these are the answers that the audience came up with. We have support and double check. We have very useful teaching. We have good sidekicks for teachers, teachers hidden sidekicks, and assistants and helpers, and help students and teachers. So all the audience and our colleagues agreed that AI tools are great friends. And this is something that we're going to prove together. Thank you very much for your contribution, and let us go back to our presentation. Okay, so moving back to the definition of generative AI tools. Now, these are types of artificial intelligence technology that can produce various types of content, including texts, imagery, audio, and synthetic data. So we can understand from this definition that AI tools can be used to generate various types of data, whether it's an image, whether it's text, whether it is an audio file, and we're going to see some of them and getting accustomed to using some of them soon. If we move on to the next point, which is AI tools and writing. Now, this is actually a very controversial issue among educators, as some of them agree and advocate the idea that AI tools can be great facilitators when it comes to teaching ESL the writing skills, while others think of them as tools that would hinder the students' creativity, especially when we're talking about writing, having in mind the problems of plagiarism and the ethical issues. So, again, this is actually a controversial issue, and many parties have many disputes regarding its, let's say, regarding it's confusing for many of, let's say, teachers and educators. So, due to that, we would like to stress the point that we know that AI tools and using AI tools to teach writing is the challenging issue. However, we know that these tools are still novel tools, new tools, and we, as educators, as practitioners, okay, should carefully consider how and why and when to use them and when to incorporate them within our classes, okay, in order, of course, to get the benefits from them. Now, regarding the pros of using AI tools, of course, according to research, researchers have presented some advantages which are associated with using AI tools in writing. Now, if we start, the first, let's say, advantage is empowering students. AI tools are known for allowing the students to excel in their writings. Moving on to the second point, AI tools can be used to customize the course content. In other words, it can be tailored to meet the different needs of the students. And also, they can be used to enhance the students' productivity, meaning that it would allow the students to produce mountless prompts of writing. And finally, ESL students can utilize these tools to translate the words that they are unfamiliar with. Moving on to some concerns which are related to the use of AI tools. The first one is related to the lack of accuracy. Now, we are aware that these AI tools, okay, are still new, and so they are not accurate. And even all of AI tools, they have a small note that's written at the bottom saying these AI tools can make mistakes. So sometimes also, whenever we're asking these tools to regenerate for many times, we will feel that they are going off topic. This is, we call it in machine learning, the hallucination effect, and we need to be aware of that. Moving on to the inequality. Now, we know in some countries do not have an appropriate access to the internet. This is due to many reasons, and one of the most important reason is the large amount of money that the governments need to pay in order to provide their citizens with internet connection. And so AI tools won't be available for every nation to use. Moving on to the bias, since these AI tools are they are somehow trained by prompts engineers, so they actually would embrace the idea of the person who trained them. So we need to be aware that they might cause a kind of bias. And the last one, we need also to be aware that since we're using AI, that means we need to be aware that we are lacking privacy. Now, one of the things that we need to be aware of is that we shouldn't share personal issues with AI tools. Now, nowadays, people are using ChatGPT as their own psychiatrist, as their own shrink. Sometimes they are using it as their own counselor, and they are consulting it in every step on their life. So we need to be aware that these AI tools keep your information for a long period of time, and they might start spreading them. So, in order to avoid such a drama, you can immediately just turn off the history chat and delete, of course, any history chat with any AI tool. So moving on to how can we utilize AI tools to enhance ESL writing. First of all, we might use AI tools to generate different writing topics, which are tailored to different students' need. And also we can use it to develop outlines. We can use it to revise content, to check, for example, the conventions, the grammar, subject-verb agreement, etc. And also we can use it to create examples that can be used in the explanation phase. Now, regarding, let's say, how to approach AI writing tools in our classroom, we need to be aware that we need to share our perspective and point of view about AI with our students. So whether you are with the use of these AI tools or you are against using them completely. So you have to explain to your students why are you with or why are you against, so that they will have an idea if AI tools can be used or not. The second thing, of course, we need to be aware of the AI policy in our country or the country where we're residing or the country where we're teaching, because each country has its own policies when it comes to AI. Unfortunately, some countries still now do not have, let's say, a special or an individualized AI policy, as still they are reluctant to embrace the use of AI. And of course, we need also to go and consult some course books and some policies around the world in order to help us to construct or to format a kind of AI policy that can be implemented in our countries. Okay, I would like to share with you this video. Okay, it's about a professor who's pissed off his students regarding the use of AI in doing their written assignment. So let's see it together.
I'm getting sick and tired of you guys using ChatGPT and Blizzard AI to respond to my discussion posts. How will you ever learn if you constantly use robots instead of using your brain? You're all gonna work for me. You're gonna work for me. I'm getting sick.
Now, what do I want from you? I want you to go to the Padlet, okay, and tell me, if you were in the professor's shoes, how would you react to the students who are using AI to finish their written assignments? Just let me take you to the Padlet. I'll share Padlet link with you. Here we go. Okay, so these are the ideas that the audience came up with. We have I stand by the professor's perspective, yet on the other hand, I admit that students need to be educated on how to use and the limits of AI tools for whatever skill. Yes, actually, as we mentioned earlier, we need to tell the students about our own opinion, about our own perspective regarding the use of AI, and we need to teach them how to use it ethically. Fatima said or wrote, I would introduce AI to my students and teach them how to prompt so that they can get help from it as a tutor. I won't give them the impression of cheating or so. This is a very clever idea, Fatima, as here you're going to give the AI tool the opportunity to act as a personalized tutor, and students would enjoy it. We have Muhammad who wrote, I used AI for customized lesson plans. I also used it for thematic videos concerning different strands that I teach here at King Saud University. Yes, this is one way in which you can implement the use of AI by, for example, using it to create lesson plans and even videos. We have Nida, I use AI for lesson planning, time management, learning language, and so on. Yes, actually, AI tools can be used for various uses. And of course, time management and lesson plannings and language learning are some of them. Many students use AI. I experienced this is an online class, but I don't encourage them to use it all the time because it hinders their creativity. But I use it for different levels of writing prompts, speaking topics, lesson planning. I totally agree. If you are in an online class, you need to be aware of the fact that students would use AI tools, especially on the writing assignments or, for example, in giving you answers for some questions. I was a total opponent of AI until I attended a TESOL conference concerning AI usage and how it would enhance the quality of the session. Now, I would still not rely on it, but I go for it regarding particular tasks and activity. Your point of view is respected. However, I think here the one who gave you the workshop was a little bit biased, okay, or he was refuting the idea of using AI because it depends on how do you use it. AI tools have really made learning and teaching easy. We just have to take and observe some with caution. That's true. We need to use them and we need to be careful while we're using them. I use AI for lesson planning and information, and I share its tools with my students for proofreading. I think this is a great way, of course, of helping the students to excel. I will allow students to use AI to get some ideas and gain knowledge, but they should not copy every single word, should guide them that way. Exactly. Thank you, Fazla. This is actually what do we have to do. We need to tell them that, you can use it for generating ideas, for checking some vocab words, for checking your spelling, but you shouldn't take the results or anything that emerged out of AI word by word. Using AI is great, but to a certain extent. I don't recommend to students as they won't be able to generate ideas by themselves and would always try to rely on something for an immediate outcome. Again, a respected point of view, but sometimes you need actually to teach them how to use AI because that would save lots of your time and that would help you to somehow it will take your role actually in scaffolding ideas, especially when it comes to writing. So thank you very much everyone for your contribution and let us go back to our presentation. Okay. So going back to our presentation, we're going to go to start talking about AI writing tools. First of all, I'm going to talk about AI content writing tools. Please, if you don't mind, I want you to log into ChatGPT. Okay, so that I will go to ChatGPT right now. Okay. Fine. We're here on ChatGPT, so we have many prompts that can be used, okay, and can be, let's say, embedded within ChatGPT. Now, the most important thing whenever you're using any prompt, you need to specify the task that you want ChatGPT to provide you with to decide on the grade level you're teaching, and you have to be accurate regarding orchestrating the prompt. For example, I have created many prompts. I'm going to write one and add it to ChatGPT to show you the results that we're going to have. So here it says, act as an English language teacher and review the students' opinion essays by following a 4-point rubric, which will include task achievement, organization, vocabulary, grammar, and conventions. Ensure to mark the students' work up to 25 and to write constructive feedback, including points of strength and points or areas for improvement. So as we're doing this, now it's got the task, so I'm going to provide it with a written prompt. Here we go. So as you can see, it provided us with a 4-point rubric and it gave us the final mark, which is 21 out of 25. Okay, so task achievement 5 out of 5, organization 4 out of 5, vocab 4 out of 5, grammar 4 out of 5, conventions 4 out of 5, and it provides a rationale behind each marking. Here we can see the constructive feedback, strength, and areas for improvement. Okay, this is one way in which you can utilize ChatGPT and implement it inside your classroom. The other one is we can create customized GPTs. We will go to GPTs, then we will go to create, and then you will have two screens. The first one to your left is the one where you can, write the prompt that you're looking for. So we can say create a customized GPT for my ninth graders that will utilize them to learn how to write, for example, a formal letter. Okay, so we will click go. Okay, so I suggest okay to give me also a name for that GPT. Okay, just let's give it some time. Okay. So it needs some time to generate the picture. No need for a picture. So if we click on this one, create, save. You can see here is the link that you can share with your students. So they will have the customized GPT. And here you go. It might take some time. Okay. And so the student, for example, can start writing, tell me how to write a formal letter. Okay, so it's going to generate for me answers on how to write a formal letter, and students would be able to chat with this GPT. Okay, so we're done from ChatGPT. Let us move to the next one. Okay, which is magicschool.ai. Let me take you to magicschool.ai. Okay, this is actually a hidden gem. Okay, now this magicschool.ai is full of applications or full of orders and prompts that can be used. For example, it can help you to generate worksheets, to rewrite texts, to create multiple choice questions or assessment. It will help you to generate presentations, to write feedback. Let's go to the rubric generator. For example, let's say again, ninth grade, 4, okay, identify the elements of a formal letter. Okay, write a formal letter to your, let's say, principal. asking him to include extra PE periods in your schedule. Okay. And so we will click generate. So you can see that depending on the prompt that I provided it with, it generated for me a rubric, which can be used for marking my students' formal letters. Okay, another interesting tool here, and I think it's going to be so beneficial for you, is the use of IEBs. In case you have, let's say, a student who's suffering from, let's say, any learning disability. For example, we can say here, autism. Okay. Here, description of student behavior, needs, and strength. If you have a file, that would be great. Just you will add, for example, a file. And so the student refuses to collaborate with his peers. So just I'll click generate, and then it's going to give me, okay, a well-organized IEP. Okay, so you can see here, measurable goals, goal 1, goal 2, accommodations, modifications, what do I have to do? Of course, if I don't like what is being generated, I can always ask for regeneration. That also would help me to produce a more comprehensive plan. Now, this is regarding Magic School. We move on, for example, to, let's say, text proofreader. Here we have a text leveler. I can, for example, provide it with a text, and it can divide it into 3 different levels. Jeopardy games, letter of recommendation, 5E model lesson plans, custom chatbot as well. One of the teachers asked me about math word problems, vocabulary generators. Like here, I'm teaching, for example, formal letters. So, okay, 9th grade, 5, let's say, formal letter vocab. Okay, let's see what's going to happen. There you go. Salutation, closing, and so on. Okay. So let's move on to another one, which is write and improve. Okay, this one is a website that relies on the use of AI tools. Okay, actually it is being launched by Cambridge. And so it is so useful for IELTS teachers. You can see that you will find many prompts that vary from beginner to intermediate to advanced. Let's take, for example, this example and see what it will do. So we said here, or it's written here, you went to a new restaurant last weekend. Do you want to tell your English friend Joe about it? So tell Joe what kind of restaurant it was, who you went to the restaurant with, and how you felt about the food. This is what I did in the presentation. And so it informed me that my level is B2. Okay. And it highlighted for me some of the things that I need to improve, and it shows me my progress. Also, you can see there are examples of IELTS Academic Task 1 and IELTS General Task 1 as well. and at the same time, your progress will be saved in the program. So let me take you, for example, to here. Okay, so you can see different types of articles. You need to have, of course, an account, and at the same time, your students should have account so that they can log in easily and with no trouble. Okay, just I wrote this one, which is this one. We can just take it. And let's see. Okay. Here we go. So you see, here C1, well done, your writing is improving and you raised your level because, you know, we wrote before the previous one. So my level is C1, and so you can, if you are clicking on some words, okay, it will give you a constructive feedback about what you have written, and your progress is going to be saved over here. Okay, this is of course a great way if you want to evaluate your students' writing, especially at the beginning of the year, to know exactly their levels. So it's going to be a kind of pre-screening in order to know the student's level. Moving on to the fourth AI tool, which is EdCafe, which is this one. So let me take you to EdCafe. Here we go. As you're gonna see over here, we're talking about EdCafe. Now, this one is a pure educational platform. In other words, this is specially designed platform for educators where you won't find any inappropriate content. So everything is related to education and educators. And at the same time, it's students friendly. Now, regarding, let's say, can it do? It can create chatbots, can create slides, lesson plans, teaching resources, quiz, slide deck, etc. For example, if you want to create, let's say, any slides, for example, I was trying to just create the presentation through EdCafe, and this is the presentation that it came up with. Okay, of course, these presentations can be exported either to Microsoft PowerPoint or to Google Slides, and of course, you can edit the contents. Another thing that you would be able to do is to make a customized chatbot. Now, the good thing about the customized chatbot over here, you can assign them to the students using your Google Classroom, or you can, for example, put them on the Microsoft Teams. You can copy the link, share it with your students. You can ask them to scan this QR code. And so they would be able to chat with the chatbot. Now, the good thing about this one, you can provide it with information. That means you can upload a book, a document, a Word document, a PDF file, a picture, anything you want. Or you can just, generate it and it will gather information from the internet. So the choice is yours. And don't forget that you can edit, of course, the contents. You can create many folders here. Now, the free version of this one is allowing you to create 4 chatbots per month. So try it and let me know how was your experience with it. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. Okay. Now we're done from talking about EdCafe. We talked about write and improve. Okay, these are some of the prompts that we used. Okay, other tools that you can be using, we have, for example, Jasper. We have also Write Sonic. We have Copilot. For AI paraphrasing tools, we've got Quillbot, and we have WordTune, Paraphraser, SpenBot, and we have Ginger Software, Scrubber. Regarding AI creative writing tools, we have SodoWrite. This one or this website can write stories. And we have Novel.ai, which is responsible for writing novels. And we have also StoryLab that allows you to write stories. Okay. We have AI editing tools that would include Grammarly Premium, WordVice, Hemingway, Type.ai, Reverso. Now, these are some activities that you can implement, okay, in your classes with the help of AI. You can, for example, do think, pair, and share. You ask the students to brainstorm some ideas. Then they pair up with a partner to share their ideas and thoughts. Then they will go to ChatGPT and find information about the things that they have discussed earlier, and they will take notes. They will evaluate whether ChatGPT supports or doesn't support their ideas. Then when they conduct the research, they go back to their previous partners and explain for them their findings. Now, regarding reflection and revision, okay, students, identify a major question or challenge in, for example, any point that you have explained earlier. Then ask the students to create a prompt, and they will respond to that question. And then they will reflect on the answer that is provided by ChatGPT. Was it correct? Was it incorrect? How can we verify the generated content? Okay, then students need to revise, improve the output that they have found by ChatGPT. They correct errors, they expand the knowledge that they got there, and then they will, of course, present that to their classmates. The third part is to evaluate credibility and the reliability. Here we ask this, or we bring to the students two texts. One is a humanized text, while the other one is an AI-generated text. And we ask them to evaluate, okay, the credibility of both articles. And so that will teach the students to develop critical thinking skills, to develop problem solving, and that will kindle and ignite their creativity and innovation. We can ask them to use Grammarly, okay, working in pairs, then they write something using Grammarly, okay, they will analyze that text, okay, and check, they will review the suggestions, discuss, for example, why did Grammarly highlight these mistakes for them, and then they will create their own prompt or their own, let's say, writing. Now, to effectively use AI tools in ESL writing, we have to follow some tips. One of them is to master your voice. In other words, we should learn that they are our assistants, they are our facilitators, they are not our placements. At the same time, we need also to understand why corrections are made. Okay, we shouldn't be using all of the AI tools. We can utilize one or two tools only in our classrooms. That would be more than enough. And we need to track our progress. In other words, we need to see if we are improving and we are making progress in approaching these tools. Okay, regarding now the conclusion and next steps, we have to practice daily, and we have to join some AI communities around the world in order to have a better understanding of how we can implement the use of these tools in our classrooms, and it would be a very good idea to build a portfolio for ourselves. These are the references. And let's connect. Okay, this is my email, this is my LinkedIn profile. And in case you are interested in reading some articles which are related to education, I have published 2 articles. One of them is about flipped classroom and how it can be implemented in the writing classes. And the other one is about project-based learning and its effect on enhancing learners' motivation and engagement. Okay, and as a token of gratitude, okay, I'm offering you links that would help you to become a Gemini certified educator. So just I'm going to post, you know, the links on the chat. Of course, this is okay. They will help you to be a certified Gemini educator. This AI tool has been created by Google, and so they are encouraging educators to be certified educators in implementing the use of Gemini in their classrooms. And now we will move to the Q&A session. And thank you very much for your time and for your contribution to the session. Thank you very much.
I know you have put in a lot of time and effort in preparing for this webinar, dear Rasha, and there is also a team working behind the scenes to make sure everything runs smooth. Thank you so much for all the information. It was such an insightful session today. So right now we have a Q&A session, so let's open the floor to questions. Please raise your hands, turn on your webcams. Until people are thinking and turning their webcams on, would you like to take Ayub's questions?
Yeah,
He
please,
said
Ayub,
that.
yes.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Ayub, regarding your question, you were mentioning the case in Tunisia. Just let me talk from experience. As, let's say, an instructor who's working at a university, okay, and I'm teaching, senior students, they are on their 4th year. I'm discovering that students sometimes are using AI, right? And to be honest with you, in higher education and even in schools, we don't have an explicit AI policy. So it's left for the educator or the teacher or the professor or whoever is teaching, okay, to deal with these situations. What do I do is when I, for example, discover that one of my students using AI, because it's going to be clear, I will share, inshallah, with you very soon on the group an article that has been published by Wikipedia telling us how can you detect AI texts, okay, AI generated texts. So usually I'm giving the student a warning by telling you, okay, I know, for example, you did your best to write whatever you're writing, but let me tell you, dear, that your text has been generated by AI. So kindly next time do not do that, okay? For the second time, if it's repeated, I'm giving him 0 with no regret. And I keep reminding them, you can use AI for brainstorming ideas only, but not to copy paste. So simple. But as you mentioned, do we have a policy, especially in our Arab world? No, there is no policy. Let's face it. This webinar, I presented similar one to it in TESOL conference last year. And most of my audience were university professors. And they were telling me, we have policies, but we cannot implement them. So sometimes it's even, there is a policy, but the teacher or the instructor or whatever cannot implement it explicitly, otherwise all the students will fail. So it's left to the teacher's rational point and sense. But for me, this how do I act with my students. For the first time, I'm just letting them take care. This is AI generated text. Next time, I'm giving 0. Okay. For example, let's say generating, you mentioned generating CVs, whatever. I recommend integrating AI and let them together because it will help you to strengthen your profile. So this is a hack that is being, let's say, revealed by HR professionals. They say if you put them together, that would help you to have a very strong profile, which will attract.
Sorry, put what together?
Yeah, ChatGPT and LinkedIn. So try to use ChatGPT to strengthen your profile. Tell it, just write the prompt. I want, for example, to improve my LinkedIn profile in order to attract, let's say, recruiters from which industry, just write the name of the industry. And so it will help you to strengthen it. And believe me, it will be a magnet, okay, which will attract people to you. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Wonderful.
you.
So I guess we still have time for one or two more questions, depending on how big questions they are. Are there any questions left?
I think there's a question in the chat, dear Fatima. Can I ask students who are weak to help them? Yes, of course, Mr. Ghazi. Of course, it's a great tool for SEND students. Even if you can create for them a kind of a chat bot that will speak, that would be also great. Okay, so you can use text to speech, okay, embedded within ChatGPT, and so they will be able to hear the GPT as well. Any other
Thank
questions?
you so much.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right. So I would like to ask everyone to turn their webcams on. Meanwhile, I guess Cynthia has got a question.
Yeah.
But I would like to ask everyone to turn on their webcam so that we can have a screenshot at the end all together.
Yes, Cynthia,
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
Good to see you people. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. Well, in my country is good morning. I'm from Peru. I have a question about recommendations. Well, I am a teacher in Peru, so the majority of, well, usually I use different kind of ideas for helping different solve or create the different exercises. But usually my problem is in the part of the geometry for elaborate different kind of, the graph. Exists application could you recommend to me for math specifically, or maybe close for elaborate this kind of geometry, for example?
Yeah, you can use magicschool.ai. It has many wonderful things for math. Okay, it has also for science, can prepare for you things which are related to math and science. Okay, so just have a look, because as I said, unfortunately, we had not enough time, to go through everything on magicschool.ai. It will help you to do lots of things there, especially for math. So it's not only for English teachers, even for Arabic teachers also, there's part of it that can be used as well. So don't worry, yes. And as I said, it's all related to prompting. The right prompt would help you to get the best results.
Thank you so much. So, as usual, your comments are going to help us to make the sessions even better. So we would like to hear your suggestions, your ideas, and your comments about today's session. You may raise your hands.
So it's okay. Maybe they don't want to speak in front of me. I can leave, then I will join back.
No, it's okay, because we are also going to share a form after the session. So people who would like to have the certificate, they have to fill in the form, answer almost 10 questions, and also they can add more ideas there. But if I would like to hear people's voices too, so I would appreciate thoughts.
If you want, you can write it on the Padlet, huh? It's fine.
Yes. So anyone here?
If you help me,
Yes.
you hear me?
Yes.
I want to thank you very much, Ms. Fatima and Ms. Rasha, for this nice session and for your amazing stuff. I wish I could hear something about lesson planning, actually, about is it good for teachers to trust the ChatGPT totally, or I mean, for lesson planning, or it should be, let's say, generated by the teacher?
Okay. Thank you very much for your question. Now, regarding lesson planning, you can use AI to format your lesson plan, but you cannot depend on it 100%. The human touch is needed. Okay? Even when you are forming quizzes as well. Okay? So you cannot depend on it or on these tools 100%. No. I will be lying to you if I'm telling you you can do so. No. Because still they admit, they tell you we can make mistakes. So the best thing is that give it the lesson plan that you want, for example, you will be teaching, let's say, next week, and try to just modify, certain points. But as I said, the good prompt would provide you with the best results. So always keep, training yourself how to prompt the things that you want the AI tool to provide you with. This is important. For example, if in your school you're following 5 E's, just tell it, create for me a lesson plans or a lesson plan based on 5 E's, and give it the topic. You see, for example, for Magic School, it asks you to provide, for example, standards you're teaching, let's say the age group of your students. For example, for some AI tools, they will ask you also if you have SEND students in the class and so on. So I think you have to, to add your human touch to it.
Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you.
most welcome.
Okay. So I guess that brings us to the end of the session. Okay, we have one more question. Yes, Mohammed. Go ahead, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello, everyone.
Alaikum salam.
I really want to add to what Dr. Rasha said. You always not dependent on AI, but you have to keep it as an assistant. You are the leader, so it's an assistant. So you have to revise what it has produced and make sure that it is open. I already provided one of the lesson plans that I produced in my teaching. So you could look at it if you want to use it or edit it. I use Q Skills for Success, all the 6 books, and this prompt helped me in my lesson plan. Thanks a lot.
I second that, Mr. Muhammad. Actually, always I keep telling teachers, these tools are stupid. We are the ones who are making them intelligent. Okay, so I totally agree. Yes. And be assured that these tools won't replace us. But what will happen is that teachers who are familiar with AI tools would be the pioneers. So the other teachers who are not familiar with AI tools will be replaced.
All right, thank you so much. We are going to share the feedback form with you after the session, right after the session. If you would like to receive your certificates, please fill in the form. If you have more questions or suggestions, you can also write them there. Good news is that people who have participated in our training sessions for 5 times are going to receive a bronze certificate. After 10 sessions, they are going to receive a silver one, and it goes up the ladder. Thank you so much, everyone, for your participation, your active participation today. Hopefully, we are going to have another webinar in just fewer than 10 days. And I hope you have you enjoy the rest of the day wherever you are. Thank you so much. Have fun. Bye.